the regional minister had given 150 street lights to municipal assemblies and 100 to district assemblies. We said it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And so he sent a message that the ministry had distributed 23,000 street lights to the various districts and constituencies. You know, when the regional minister made this promise has gone through a lot of processes. And sometime last month, was it November or October, they made another announcement that the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and the Regional Coordinating Council was going to work together to fix the street lights. It was in the newspapers, it was on radio, it was on TV. So I thought then something big was going to happen, because if the ministry is stepping in, and it's the ministry's job anyway to ensure that these things work. If the ministry is stepping in, then something transformational must happen. Then you are telling us you've distributed, minister says she's distributed 150 street lights to municipal assemblies, 100 to district assemblies. What they've not told us is whether the assemblies themselves are also buying their own street lights. But at the moment, the numbers we have shows that we are not doing anything transformational when it comes to lighting our streets. If you deliver 23,000 street lights to assemblies, Kofi, how many district assemblies do we have?
261.
So let me pull my calculator. 23,000 divided by 261. You are giving an average of 88 street lights per assembly. 88 street lights per assembly. And I'll use a road that I travel on every day for my analysis. From Adenta Barrier to Race Junction, it's about 2 to 3 kilometers long. You have the 3 express lanes on both sides, and then you have the outer lane. If you are going to put street lights on this 2 to 3 kilometer road from Adenta Barrier to Race Junction, Medina Race Junction, you would need 260 street lights if you look at the spacing and the positioning of our street lights. So if you go and give an Adenta Municipal Assembly 150 street lights, that Adenta Barrier to Race Junction Road, they cannot light it up properly. So how do we expect to keep our dark streets well lit to promote public safety and related stuff? And if you permit me, maybe I must expand this street light conversation to hit everybody. The vice president is the chair of the police board, right?
Yeah, police council.
Yes, police council. So I want to assume that public safety is something that should be one of the things they do. And they need well-lit communities to ensure that there is proper public safety. I would like to know whether they've discussed any of those things when they go for their police council meetings, because you cannot put, the darker your communities, the higher the risk when it comes to crime. And if a whole ministry is distributing street lights and they are distributing an average 88 street lights per district, what do you expect them to do? How do we expect to light up our country?
But Kojo, let me just chip in this, because yes, you're right, the ministry could help. And at the time when we passed LI 1961, we made some transitional arrangements and said that the ministry should help in the provision of street lights and all. But I have here with me LI 1961. It's the Local Government Departments of District Assemblies instrument. Now, Regulation 10, which is the Department of Works, 10P, okay, let me just get this. Yes, P, says that, first of all, it says the Department of Works of the District Assembly is a measure of the Public Works Department, Department of Feeder Roads, and District Water and Sanitation Unit, Department of Rural Housing, and the Works Unit of the Assembly. The Works Department shall, and I will take you to P, in consultation with Electricity Company of Ghana, facilitate the provision of street lighting.
Okay.
I bring this here because the District Assembly has a major role to play.
Good.
It is the responsibility of the District Assembly to do this.
Yeah.
So you can see the regional minister coming in trying to, you can see the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition coming in and saying, "Oh, we are assisting
because ECG is under the ministry."
Yeah, so we're doing this, but the real job is with the district assembly.
Yeah.
You see, I say this because a lot of the time our assemblies go to sleep and expect people to blame everybody but the assembly. This is the responsibility of the works department of every assembly. So the question is, what are they doing?
There's also a problem with this centralized approach. So 23,000 streetlights provided by the Energy Ministry. And if Kojo's analysis is correct, if they have done this equitably, that in itself is a problem. Do all districts need the same number of streetlights? Are there not some districts in which some streetlights are working and it's only a few that require replacement? Has anyone done anything scientific to determine which district gets how many streetlights? For which reason 23,000 was decided on? Or did somebody just do that because that was the money that was lying around, or that was the amount of streetlights that they thought sounded, impressive enough? Where is the science?
Well, part of our problem is that if you look at the Local Governance Act, even though we'll talk about the fact that we need to release funds to the district assemblies and all of that, the district assemblies common fund. Now, there's a provision in there that actually gives the minister the opportunity to determine certain things and sometimes withhold certain funds and procure things in Accra for the districts. That which was supposed to be the exception in many of the instances becomes the norm. But the point also is that some amount of money is distributed to the district every quarter. It may delay, but the districts also have another responsibility, have a responsibility to internally generate funds. The question is, what do the districts use their internally generated funds for? I'll tell you. Sometimes, most of the instances, the internally generated funds are used to employ people and paid by the districts. And some of these people are political persons who are within the district who probably may have campaigned for the coming into force of a government. So the district will use this. And I'll tell you one thing. There are a lot of people who actually work in the local government system. If you check, they are not under the government payroll. They're actually on the district's payroll. What it means is that the district uses its internally generated funds to pay them. So the challenge is, how is the district itself doing these things? In the past, the literature had indicated that a lot of the IGF that were left to the districts to collect were funds that were very difficult to collect. And so government took the easy funds and left the districts with the difficult ones. And so many districts do not get these things. I know we've had a conversation about, how certain districts be off the common fund because they can actually generate their own funds. I also think that we must have the conversation about even the number of districts, because the constitution is very clear on what should constitute a district. The district must be economically viable. Today, we have politically, for political reasons, created districts that are not economically viable. And so those districts would have to rely on central government for everything. Because in creating them, we did not think that that district was better under another district, because that district, a bigger district or bigger municipality, had an economic viability. That's the problem.
I can't wait for MDCs to be elected on a non-partisan basis. I can't wait. Because, you see, this is part of the problem that it is meant to address. If you are elected and you are put into that office on the force of the policies that you promised the people of that district, then they hold you to account for them. You have to figure out how to fund them. And then if you get your money and you decide that your internally generated funds, and decide that you're going to use it to employ people who belong to the central government's party, then that's your problem. You lose the next election. You see, so for me, that is step one. Of course, you will always have the human factor. People will always disappoint you. But at the very least, we are reducing the normalcy of this centralized procurement economy that we are running, where a few people at the center use this as an opportunity to line their own pockets and then enforce the loyalty of people in the districts by deciding who gets employed and all of that. Look, let's I can't wait for this Constitutional Review Committee report to be presented, for us to start prioritizing which things we are going to change through referenda. Is that the right word? and get this thing done so that we can start electing these people on a non-partisan basis. That's the solution to a lot of these problems. Not just the lighting, but the sanitation, which is a big problem for us now. We've already started this campaign here, the My Filth report, where we are calling on Ghanaians to tell us where the filth is. Send us the pictures and the videos of the dirt, so we can get these same local authorities, whose job it was from the beginning, to go out there and solve the problem. But today there's no motivation for them to do their job, because we've centralized everything. 23,000 streetlights from the Ministry of Energy, and they will tick a box and say we've solved the problem.
And for me, it's a problem. And Kofi, I just went on ECG's website and I'm looking at their, let me check the year 2024, financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023. I don't have the latest. I don't have the 2024 one. And I'm looking at their revenues and their collections, and I still don't understand why our streets are not lit. Because when I pay my electricity bill, I know I pay a percentage for public lighting. When I pay my electricity bill, a percentage goes into public lighting. So why can't we have our streets lit?
And I know that employing people with it.
No. Aside the ones that the local...
This one is taken by ECG.
I'm talking about the ECG component. Aside the local assembly issues, about 3% of your bill is public lighting. If I remember my bill very well, right?
You're right.
If 3% of your bill is public lighting, and if I remember very well, 50% of that goes to ECG to keep the lights on, to keep the public lights on, and I think 50% goes to the ministry. If the ministry is listening, we need them to call and make an intervention. Now, if 50% goes to ECG to pay for the power consumed by our street lights, and 50% goes to the ministry, that 50% that goes to the ministry, where else does it land? Is it not the money that is supposed to be used to replace the bulbs, to maintain the stuff, and to...
The ECG will tell you, that the money you pay...
is not enough.
No, that money is actually for... So when you fix the street light, when you turn it on,
yes,
the energy it consumes is what you're paying for.
That's what I'm saying. 50% goes to ECG for that. 50%.
So you're paying for that.
Okay.
So what is expected now, and the reason why it's important the assemblies collaborate with ECG, is that the assemblies must actually get those street lights in the first place. And that is where the problem is. Because the assemblies have just not done the right thing.
And so we are paying for this public lighting levy. We have our streets which don't have street lights. They are dark. So which bill are we paying to ECG to keep the lights on?
Good question.
I am paying every month. Not every month, but these days you can buy electricity all the time, every day, every other week you are buying electricity. So I'm paying this thing consistently, and I'm not seeing any street lights. The street lights in my neighborhood, we bought it ourselves. We bought solar street lights and installed them ourselves. I've not seen ECG or my assembly coming to fix street lights in my neighborhood. And the street I drive on every morning is as dark as anything. So why must this be the case? Why should we have a filthy and dark country at the same time?